So, in probably one of the better episodes of this season, we see some amazing, really cool stuff. Jakar tries to avoid becoming an important spiritual leader, even though he is probably maybe he is the most enlightened Narn in history. I mean, there is Jaquan in the vision that Jakar had of his father. Maybe I don't know.
He just wrote down historical events, and they took it down as scripture.
Yeah, they took it seriously. But I mean, that's honestly, I'm super intrigued by the Narn. Like, they have a really cool belief structure there. I don't know. Delenn gets I guess we could say some super happy, great news. I guess it was an okay part of the episode, and it kind of plays into some things that happened in season 3. Mm-hmm. Captain Lockley's in this episode too, y'all.
Yeah, she showed up.
She was missing in action last episode when there's a whole bunch of stuff that she should have been doing and she wasn't. But hey, she's here and she's handling business. And Garibaldi, Mr. Garibaldi, he is forced to face his alcoholism head on, and there's a very specific reason. It's not because that it affects only him, because remember, it doesn't just affect him. Mm-hmm. Any fun thoughts about this episode before we jump in?
I liked a lot of the metaphors. I always like metaphors. Babylon 5 is really good at metaphors. But they were more direct with the metaphor. It wasn't sci-fi metaphor. It was, this is the situation.
Yeah. Really good dialogue. You know, I always have to praise this cast because they're all really good. You know, Andreas is always a standout. Peter Jurasik is always a standout. But the guy that plays Garibaldi, he's good. He's really good. All of them are good. Jerry Doyle. Yeah, that was his name. Jerry Doyle. All right. So we open up and Jakar is returning to Babylon 5 alone because, Londo kicked him out. And as soon as he gets on the station, he is hounded by worshipers. When he left, it was a bunch of people that were like, remember he was holding those seminars, seminars and workshops, spiritual workshops, trying to teach people from the Book of Jakar. And they kept changing what the book said. And so they kept saying like, no, you wrote this. The universe writes through you. Therefore, this is holy scripture. He's like, no, this is just kind of what I was thinking that day. He's like, we gotta let go of books. This is what I've learned is much bigger than that. They're like, nope, you're wrong. What you wrote is scripture. And it's like, oh, so yeah, but the book though. And so they're hounding him, and I thought it was funny because when he walks up on the deck, the Narn who are worshiping him, they're like chanting his name. There's this one woman Narn in the front that just looks like she's just overcome with ecstasy, overacting, and I was just like, oh gosh, is that what it's like? It's hilarious to me though. And they pretty much follow him around all the episode. And it was Captain Lockley that was greeting with him. Jakar's worried that his service to Londo has diminished his status on Narn, but then he sees that they're ready to worship him. So maybe he doesn't have such a diminished status in people's mind. Franklin tries to summon Garibaldi. Garibaldi is in his quarters, passed the fuck out. And Franklin chimes in. He's like, hey, we're supposed to be in a meeting. And Garibaldi's like, that meeting's at 4. Franklin's like, bro, that meeting's at 2:00. It's happening now. We're waiting on you. So Garibaldi hurries up and rushes. We got President Sheridan, Delenn, Franklin, all of the senior officers. And Garibaldi rushes in. He tries to give his report because Sheridan asked him, like, hey, since you're setting up, give us your report. Putting him right on the spot, right? Garibaldi slurs through his whole thing, and he does what some of us do, which is confuse the Centauri with the Minbari. It happens. But Sheridan is like, Garibaldi, you drunk. Something wrong with you. And I like how they did this. Instead of it becoming like this, like, will he will he guess and you notice or not? He's like, no, you know what? Meet is adjourned. Garibaldi, you stay right here. I need to talk to you.
I really liked that they brought
And
this back because I was asking a couple episodes, like, the fuck we gonna do about this nigga being drunk on the job? Wars and shit is breaking out. People is dying. Like, what the hell? And they are just reserving that for a complete episode. I like it.
yeah. And I like that it's Sheridan. The way that Sheridan is taking care of it. Sheridan says probably the worst thing that Garibaldi or anybody in that situation could hear. Because Garibaldi's like, oh, yeah, you know, I screwed up. You're mad. And Sheridan's like, I'm not mad. I'm just really disappointed. And then he turns the knife. Then he turns the knife. He goes, I'm not even disappointed in you. I'm disappointed in myself, Garibaldi. Because I didn't catch on. And I couldn't be there for you when you needed help. And it's like, God, Garibaldi, you should feel like trash because you are. You're a trash human being.
But let's not forget where the credit is due, because he was ready to just like accuse Garibaldi and probably put him out on his ass. But his girl, Delenn, was like, come on, babe. You've been going through a lot. Have some compassion and empathy. And I need people to get them some in 2026. We could heal a lot of stuff and make a better world if we could learn those two skills.
Mm-hmm. And like he got controlled by the Psychor, portrayed his best friend under that control, and nobody thought, you know, you might not be okay. Like that's when you should have caught it, not when you start drinking. It's like
After you gave him such a high-ranking position, what the fluff?
I mean, yeah, you needed
Right.
to send him on vacation to a therapist, to a therapy spa, some therapy
Right.
spa out there. I'm sorry, this ain't Star Trek, is it? Yeah.
I know. That's what I was to say. Even Captain Picard took leave after he was assimilated by the Borg, and he went to the beach. He went to hang out with Riza and read some books, play some music.
And he got a counselor there with him the whole time, before and after,
Yeah.
and during.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
still got
To
me here.
take accountability
So-
for that was nice to see, because they send our men and women off to become weapons and then have them doing and seeing all kind of heinous things, and they take away their ability to critical think or to, you know, push back against authority, and then they send them back to the civilian world where we're just concerned with like what pair of Air Jordans is popular right now or whatever the fuck is in the regular media. I don't know what is important to people who be on the internet. The people come back all fucked up
Nothing.
in the head, and we're just not giving our military veterans the support that they need.
So Sheridan's like, all right, here's the deal. You getting suspended. Garibaldi's like, you're not gonna fire me. And Sheridan's like, no. You just gonna take some time. You gonna figure this whole alcoholism out. And Garibaldi's like, but what if it takes a long time? And Sheridan is like, then it takes a long time. Take as much time you need, Mr. Garibaldi. Now get out of my office. You smell. smell like booze. So and Sheridan emphasizes like, I'm still your friend. You just need to take care of yourself. We see that Franklin visits Jakar, and this is hilarious because Jakar is back in his quarters and he's yelling at everybody, stay away from his, stay out, stop bothering me. Outside in the hallways, it is packed with Narn that are just hoping to get a glimpse of Jakar. Franklin bogarts his way in, getting yelled at him, and he delivers to Jakar what the Kari are demanding of Jakar. There's like, because your presence on the station is causing these political turmoil on the home world, we need you to come home. Like, people ain't listening to us, they listen to you, so you need to come home. And Jakar is pissed off. He's like, man, I really don't want this deification. This is not the way things are supposed to be. They're not even supposed to be knowing that I'm here, paying attention to me, none of that stuff. And then they have a really cool conversation. I wanted to get your thoughts on this, Mel. He said, Jakar goes, why does the universe give us puzzles with no answer? And Franklin, being the foundationalist that he is, he touches on some philosophical concerns, and these are paradoxes slash contradictions that are raised, especially for people who are believers. He says, rather than people ask, is God so powerful that he can create a rock that even he can't lift? He's like, that's the wrong question. What if the question is, can God create a puzzle so complex that he can't solve it? And then he goes, maybe that's us. And I thought that was at least a clever attempt to be profound. But what are your thoughts?
It kind of reminded me of when Delenn said that we were all part of the universe trying to understand itself. And therefore, if we are the universe trying to understand ourselves, then we are the puzzle that we can't figure out.
Right. Without giving away too much, I've been thinking about kind of that part too. Because our minds, we conceptualize the words that, God, the universe, the concepts of eternity, what happens to the soul. And it is kind of like what Franklin is pointing out, like a complex puzzle that can't be solved yet. But maybe there is no solution. Like, the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. And I think it's a mistake for people to attribute that to God or the universe. That's a very human trait, to be curious and to not know.
Yeah.
And I think Franklin, like, this is me, like, really really twisting this. I think Franklin is trying to say, like, let's not attribute this to deification and to God. But, there's something important here that people need and they need to know. And them attributing it to the prophet Jakar or whatever is something that they need. Not that he needs, but they need. So this is leaving kind of a question up in the air that we do get addressed later in the episode. It's kind of
fun. Yeah, there's a very good answer to that later. But also, like, to consider the whole puzzle thing, then also consider we are not God, but in some perspectives, like, if we are the universe, then we are the thing that the universe is. But
the unanswerable.
So can
puzzle.
we make a puzzle that we don't understand, that we can't fix or figure out? Like, if I made a jigsaw puzzle in my classroom, which I've done before, could I make my kids a puzzle that I can't figure out?
Yeah.
And I guess maybe technically it is possible. If I just had a huge picture that I just cut willy-nilly, I mean,
No, you did it when you made engineering.
oh, engineering is his own entity. That's my explanation for that.
Absolutely.
I think what you're conceptualizing is kind of what the idea of the Gordian knot was. It was this legend that's associated with Alexander the Great. It was supposed to be this knot that is so tangled that no one person can unloosen it or solve it. And so Alexander the Great, being the dumbass he is, he goes and cuts it. He's like, yeah, there I solved it. He brute forced it, but it's, there are a lot of really cool stories in the past that bring, like, this concept of, like, maybe there is no answer. And honestly, I think it's a fun thing to think about. There are people who find it who find it distressing because they think that they have to lean on authority to know all things. But then you're begging the question, does that authority exist? There's always the assumption, like, it has to.
Yeah.
But that leads to different questions.
Yeah. And the rock question or boulder question, It was 20th
Mhm.
century atheist that came up with that question. Because if God can do anything, then he can create a boulder that he can't even lift. So there's no such thing as anyone doing their explanation was that there's no such thing as someone who can do anything because anything is
Mm,
contradictory.
yes. All right, we'll jump back to that later on in the episode, I think. So we see Zach and Captain Lockley, they receive a transmission from Earth. We had another wonderful Earth officer that is portrayed by a beautiful black woman actress. Uh they be on the roll in Babylon
Hmm
5. Basically, there's been a lot of attacks on Psychor, and they think that it leads back to Lyta. Lyta is financially supporting terrorists, and they're
Let's
like, "All
go,
right."
Lyta. Let's go.
And so they task Sheridan, they task Lockley and Zach to arrest her. And Lockley, being the by the book, following orders, is like, "All right, we gotta go get her." So they quickly show that Lockley visits Garibaldi. He's suspended, and she offers help. And Garibaldi is being Garibaldi, so he's being a complete dumbass in this situation. You know, he's disappointed in himself. He's irritated, and Lockley is like, "I understand what you're going through," and he goes all the way off. He goes, "Oh yeah, right, the great, wonderful Lockley. Tell me what you understand about me." And everything that she says is 100% right. She read him to the T, and it pissed him off. She talks about how Garibaldi is angry. When she said that, that dude reacted. He was like, "Oh fuck." um, and since he can't lash out and hurt the people that hurt him, he lashes out at everybody else. She tells a story about her father, and how he was a alcoholic and took things out on the family, and things got so bad that she ran away. And this then confirmed her father's suspicions about like his inadequacies as a father, as a person, those type of things. Um, and then she said she learned that her father's passion was painting. She didn't know this until after her mother died, and he was really good at it. And he didn't want he didn't want to be in the military. All he wanted to do was paint. But every day he didn't paint, it was painful. So to get rid of the pain, he drank. And I thought that that was a very powerful point, because the thing that brings you passion, when that's absent, you are wounded. And I mean, can we talk about America for like a split second? Can we talk about
Is
capitalism
it
for a
only going to
split
be a
second?
second? Because we can go off into tangents, but we could try. Subject after
Good luck.
Mm-hmm. Because that's what I mean. It's like our society champions going through wounding and painful, agonizing torture, and then later doing the thing that you're passionate about. And then that's considered a virtue. But when you look around in the society, we get to see that, yeah, I mean, granted, alcoholism is down, but people are looking for ways to relieve their pain in more ways than one. And in extreme cases, some people wish to permanently end their pain. And it's very sad, because it's like, we don't have to be like this. We really don't. It's a choice. In that conversation, Lockley reveals that she is also a recovering alcoholic, and she's sharing the same pain that Garibaldi had. Like, Garibaldi tried to storm out and leave. It was really messed up. He's like, "Well, you need to leave." And she's like, "No." And he throws a glass on the floor, and he's doing all of the stuff like the acting out the alcoholics do to get people to like back off so he can still be an alcoholic. And he's like, "Well, if you're not going to leave, I'm going to leave." So he leaves, and she follows him. And on the lift, that's when she reveals that she also is an alcoholic. And he's like, "Well, I didn't know. I've never seen it." She says, "That's because I do the same thing that you do. I hide it." Right. And he says something like, "Maybe that's why we couldn't stand each other day one." And I'm like, "No, that's not why y'all couldn't stand each other day one. Lockley just doesn't like you, Garibaldi." No, I'm sorry. She said that. She said maybe that's why we didn't like each other day one. But remember when Garibaldi was in that meeting and she's looking like, why is this dude even
Mm-hmm.
here? No, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's the only part that I disagree with this scene.
I I related to her story when it came to her father, because when I let go of writing, I had no idea how to get rid of the pain. Like I didn't know what to do with myself other than try to push my way through doing what I was expected to do. And um it kind of like he was expected to go into the military, and that was something that he needed to numb and needed to use in order to hide the fact that he was in pain for not doing his art. Because I mean, it was where the pain was coming from, the fact that you had to do this other thing. And it wasn't until I got serious about writing that I noticed that I wasn't drinking as much. Like when I got serious into writing my second book, um, I would buy a beer and like take a sip
Mm,
from it, and 3 hours later realize it's sitting near warm and flat. Like I could not like not go through a case before when I wasn't writing. And even if I'm not writing, like if I'm taking a break from writing for like a week and I'm still not drinking. Like I could spend the whole weekend playing Minecraft, but I know I'm going to go back to working on this book. I know that I'm working on this book. I know I have a folder full of books that I want to write and that I'm going to write, and I still don't want to drink. It's weird.
mm. Yeah,
Disclaimer,
I
not
can
saying it's a
only.
solution for alcoholism or any addiction. Just a disclaimer. I'm just saying, help me with
Yeah,
mine.
yeah. And I was gonna kind of connect on that. Like, I don't have like an addiction or dependency issue in my life, but it is a thing that people have used as tools that will assist them in their navigation in that world. So yeah, this ain't no cure. Well, for a lot of people's situations, there's not a cure. Like looking at Garibaldi, I don't think he's an alcoholic because he's not doing what he loves. I think he's just an alcoholic, like genetically. You know what I mean? And so he has to he has to go and take extra steps to be in
Yeah.
control.
There's a possibility
Um,
that he
yeah.
did ignore what his actual calling was. Because remember, his father was a cop, and his father taught him everything that he knows about being a cop. And maybe he's just good at it for some reason. Like I was good at working with kids for some reason, even though it wasn't my choice, it wasn't my passion. But like I respected the kids, and maybe he's just smart and knows how to pick up on things, but it's not necessarily for that. Maybe his skill is somewhere else, and he's
Why are
never
we
acknowledged.
calling
Yeah.
Garibaldi smart? Okay, so we calling Garibaldi smart today. Let's go.
He has some he has the ability to put information together when he wants to and how he wants to. But when he does, he does. And I that's a form of intelligence. Maybe not smart, but intelligent, which can be inflated.
It's maybe with Garibaldi's thing, he likes solving puzzles, but the puzzle has to be interesting to him. It can't be something obvious or I don't even know what the word is, like tedious. It has to be interesting, and maybe that's why him being all up in Lockley's business last episode was a big deal. Well, I'm saying last episode, in I think it was episode 6. So, um, so they have that conversation, and it seems like that Lockley and Garibaldi are on the same page on at least this one thing, right? She's giving him the benefit of the doubt. So she continues on. She finds Zach, and I think they're in the Zocalo, and the first thing that she says, like, "Hey, so is Sheridan on the way?" And Zach is like, I don't know. He was supposed to be here. And she goes, "Well, we got to do this now or never, so we're gonna do it now." I love what they do with this scene because Lyta honestly could have been such a much more impactful character in the past, but they're taking the opportunity to do some really good stuff with her now. Luckily, and Zach, they confront her and she's like, what do you want? So what she's doing right now, she's in the middle of an arms deal with an arms dealer. Bro is sitting at the table. So she's buying weapons for the resistance on Babylon 5. And Zach is like, we need you to come with us. And she's like, well, why? And Lockley says, well, we just need you to answer some questions. Now we can do this any way you want it. And this is where I start to turn on Lockley, because she starts putting on that bullshit. Because I know that she doesn't have a relationship with Lyta, but Zach does. And both of them just backed each other up in this situation. And Lyta was like, what if I don't want to go? And Lockley goes, well, I can just arrest you. And he goes, and Lyta goes,
like to see you try.
are you sure? And so what she's doing, she's strumming her fingers on the table and she's using her telepathic powers, and every other person in the Zocalo is doing the exact same thing, which means that they are telepathically linked and she is controlling their movements. And this is a wonderful demonstration of her power, and they're making the moment tense. And she says, do whatever you got to do, but you won't lay a finger on me. In fact, nobody can lay a finger on somebody that's been touched by the Vorlons.
She like tried Jesus,
And
don't
then
try
it
me.
happens. Right. But then it happens. Captain Sheridan has a PPG right up to Lyta's temple, and he's like, you're not the only one that was touched by a Vorlon. I don't know. And this is where it pisses me off, because Sheridan had been an advocate for the telepaths for a long time, and now he's threatening to murder Lyta. They turned on her real quick, and so
It was very frustrating because one, you not gonna shoot her, and two, there's just so many other ways that this could have went. Every time that she went for assistance, she was meeting you guys like at a scheduled time, making real like what's the word, reasonable offers to try to get her needs met, and y'all kept ignoring her and ignoring her. And now your solution to suspecting that she's doing something, y'all still ain't proved it, is to put a PPG to her head. Man, fuck you.
Right.
Well,
Let's go down the list. She helped to defeat the shadows. She's the most powerful telepath. She knows more about the Vorlons than anybody else. She helped block Bester and help keep Bester at bay. She has been trying to help Sheridan deal with the telepaths. She's done so much. She's a goddamn war hero.
mm-hmm.
And then Sheridan pulls a gun on her, and he demands, "Hey, you need to let all these people go. Or I'm gonna put a bolt right in the back of your brain." Pissing me off. And then they handcuff her, and she's like, "Yeah, nobody will be able to shoot me or whatever, right?" Then Lockley walks up and knocks her out. She punches her in the face, knocks her out. That pissed me all the way off.
Well, I mean, it also shows that regardless of everything that she's done, she's still just a telepath. She's still a second-class citizen.
Yeah.
Kind of like how
second-class citizen.
Oh no! What in the world?
Yeah, like she's being controlled by everybody again. We switch. We see that Garibaldi and Lockley are having a discussion of the difficulty of containing the power of Lyta Alexander, because really they are only doing it because Lyta's cooperating. And Garibaldi, he's listening to all of this, but then Lockley surprises Garibaldi because she had arranged for none other than Lise to come visit Garibaldi. She's on the station.
Fucking thing she could have ever did. I was like, how you gonna invite this hoe? She drinks in front of him. She ain't helpful. It was sweet because you be needing support, but maybe she don't know that she a fuck up.
I didn't like the fact that she said that the best thing to mend you is the love of a good woman. And it just reinforces that women are just supposed to fix your problems.
Ooh, yeah. I thought it was funny because didn't Lee say that the reason why she came was because Garibaldi needed her?
Yeah, the captain lied to her. Ain't told her the real problem.
And so they have that nice little back and forth. And oh gosh, Lise is trying to say that she runs a large corporation on Mars, and Garibaldi gets an idea. It's like, wait a minute, you run a corporation on Mars? I'll be right back, and he leaves. it, it becomes important why he left. We see Sheridan and Franklin. They discuss the challenges of holding Lyta, but they're noting like, she's got a point to be angry at y'all. And they just don't know how powerful she is. She's been kind of like mum on her power level for a long time. Then Delenn bursts in the office, and this woman is furious. She is spitting venom. She's like, look, these goddamn Kari Narns are threatening to boycott our alliance because they think that we're holding Jakar. And they're like, what? No, that's not what's going on. It's like, yeah, I know, these bastards. They can't do this. And she's in her rage, she faints. And if you've ever watched sitcoms, dramas, anything in the 90s, you know exactly what that's for. But Franklin catches her, and then we switch back. Lise is talking to Garibaldi again. They're having their back and forth. He's talking about how he screwed up his life by being an alcoholic. And she's like, you don't need this place, Garibaldi, but I need you. Why don't you come back and help me run Edgar's Industries? And he's all like, I'm not sure you need me around. I'm a screw up. Oh geez, guys, I'm just so bad at my job. But
I can't, as much as I don't like Lee, I do identify with her in the way that she is trying to get her way in this situation. Because she does have this big company. She needs, or no, she wants her partner with her and beside her. And I have the resources to give you the freedom to do whatever the hell you want to do. You don't have to, be selling your time for credits here, right? You can come and run this company with me, and if that's not your jam, because we so papered up, you can do whatever you want to do with your time. And when she has said that you weren't staying here, much longer anyway, because he kind of pushed back and was like, well, I need to fix things here. That's him running from the commitment.
The whole idea of intimacy, yeah.
And she's like, but you were supposed to be coming at the end of the year anyway. The fuck so with that? So yeah, she did not like hold him to the fire on that one, but he's in for just more heartbreak. Like, that relationship is not gonna make it, but I still do identify with like the way she's trying to get her man. I've done it. I'll do it again.
Yeah. In Med Lab, Franklin is talking to Sheridan. Is like, hey, everything's cool. It's just that there's a lot that we don't know, and Sheridan being a complete dumbass around Delenn. He's like, well, what do you mean? And Franklin's like, look, Minbari physiology is different, and she's a Minbari human hybrid, so we don't know exactly how this is going to work. He's like, what do you mean how this is going to work? And he goes, oh yeah, she's pregnant. Which, I mean, that should have been obvious, right? Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, I had no idea. I didn't know what the fluff was going on.
And it was kind of weird the way that he was like, she's pregnant. Like, why are you saying it like that? And then it for that to follow right after a scene where the woman is the one who fixes your heart. And then the men are having a discussion about pregnancy, and it's all serious.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that's kind of like a 90s sitcom trope, because when he learns that she's pregnant, bro's face just goes blank. He's not happy. He's not sad. He's just dumbstruck. I guess you can say they didn't know that was possible, that that's the thing that could happen. And so he wasn't expecting it. But I mean, come on now.
But the conversation, but
Yeah.
the doctor said his tests were inconclusive, and he said, "But I thought you said you didn't know." And I'm like, he's like, "Yeah, well, they were inconclusive." Like that's what that means.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Um, and I guess another thing that has they always, and this goes all the way back to like the like 50s television. Men are dumb when it comes to women being pregnant, and then men are always trying to come up with ways that it's not true. Like if she's pregnant, she's pregnant. Like don't try to get out of it now.
Considering like 50's life
You
was
know?
like have a wife so that she can make you babies and sandwiches. So why are you shocked that the one out of the two things you expect her to do?
Yeah. But also sexuality and sexual reproduction was a taboo to talk about. People legitimately didn't know things because they were purposefully deprived of like facts and information. I mean, it's not that it's terribly different now. It's just that we speak a little bit more openly about sex. Yeah.
And we can do a whole
So Sheridan,
side mission on that if y'all want to. Ow.
So Garibaldi visits Lyta in the cell, and I like this scene, but I also like the follow-up scene. So he proposes a deal to her in exchange for her removing the neural block the Bester put in his mind. He will use his upcoming position at Edgar's Industries to create a secret fund for her anti-psychor activities. You know, all of her money is supposed to go into a fund to help telepaths and rehabilitate them and all that stuff. It's basically them doing, once again, stripping her of all her power and resources that she worked so hard for. And she's in a situation where she's kind of like stuck. What I liked about that scene was cool. It was cool that she blew up the camera so they couldn't, watch and listen in on the conversation. They're just, they're trying to cut this deal to keep her from going back to Earth as a prisoner. Garibaldi and Lockley are having a discussion about the whole situation. Jakar is walking by and he's eavesdropping and they're talking about it, but Jakar's just like, look, I hear what you guys are saying about Lyta. And he's also carrying a bronze statue of himself, like an action figure. He's like, look, I hear what you guys are saying about Lyta, and I think I got a solution. So I'm leaving Babylon 5, right? I'm gonna be leaving to explore the galaxy. If I'm not here and I'm not on Narn, they can't blame you and they can't take me. And so he's like, let's do this. Y'all don't give her back to Earth. Y'all give her to me because she can't stay here. This will free us both from our, fucked up situations. He spends a little bit of moment wondering like, okay, why would people deify me? And his understanding is that it's easier for people to make a statue and to turn a person into like an icon or an ideal rather than learn from them. And they don't want to learn from themselves either. And this is where Garibaldi chimes in. Is like, yes, so they don't have to think for themselves. And I was like, yep, that's exactly what it is. People will take an object or an ideal and personify it and turn it into this sacred thing so they don't have to think. And it's an interesting strategy for humans, but it's also something that has often turned into our detriment. There are plenty of religious wars between religious people that believe the same things. They just believe different interpretations of what they believe, and they murder each other for it. And so Jakar's like, instead of that happening, I'ma just kind of disappear. I don't need all that on my conscience. So we switch and we see that Lise is surprised to see Garibaldi return to the quarter so quickly. And he talks and reflects that everyone he cares about on the station is preparing to leave. And so he's kind of like, yeah, there's really not a big reason for me to stay. So maybe I should go with you to Mars.
And that is
let's remember.
romantic. Because you ain't got shit else better to do. You just gonna come and be with him. That's great. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Mm-mm.
Hey, she goes for it though.
She goes for
She's
him
dumb.
anytime he comes back.
Say that
So
again.
Because she's dumb.
she goes for him
No,
anytime he
Mel.
comes back. Like you left her
Yes.
stranded and almost homeless on Mars because your buddy said I got a job for you and just did not call back. You've been gone for years. And then all of a sudden when Mars gets attacked, I still love you. She's like, I'm married. And then take him back because this fool
Mm-hmm.
done dumped her just like he dumped her. I'm like, maybe you need to work on yourself and stop going after these, expecting these dudes to take care of you. But I guess she don't have to care about that anymore because she's rich.
Mm-hmm.
Don't save them. They don't want to be saved.
Don't say it. Anyway, also let's think about this. Let's put two and two together because he does want to leave with Lise. Lise gave him the offer like, hey, let's get married, and he's all like, okay, but let's put two and two together. Like everybody's leaving. Franklin's leaving. Jakar's leaving. Londo ain't coming back. Pretty soon, Delenn and Sheridan are leaving. They're about to have a baby. Okay, everybody's busy. Ivanova's gone. But we get to see the flashback. We get to see what Garibaldi and Lyta talked about in the previous scene, like the full context of it, which is he made a counter offer to Lyta made a counter offer to Garibaldi, and she goes like, no, you're about to set up two accounts. One's a decoy account, the other one's a real account that we're gonna secretly fund, and I'm gonna give you a 2-year deadline. In 2 years, you better have my shit ready. You better have my money. Because she's, no matter what, she's going to run the underground.
Mm-hmm.
She's not following nobody's rules. She's following her own rules. And then we kind of figure out like why Garibaldi goes for it. And she explains what her theory is. Because he's trying to figure out like, okay, you never actually told us how powerful of a telepath you are. You started out at P5. We know you're not that. You're stronger than a P12. You could just remove these telepathic blocks. And she explains that what the Vorlons did to her is not simply enhance her powers. She is beyond what anybody has ever seen the telepaths do. And the purpose is she calls herself a doomsday weapon, a last resort. And when Garibaldi, he's like, a weapon of mass destruction, she goes, pleased to meet you, Mr. Garibaldi. And her eyes glow white and then completely black. And I'm like, oh, she's been in control this entire time. And she says that she's going to let Garibaldi keep his block. And she'll remove it in 2 years. It's like, Garibaldi, I'm going to let you just run around knowing that I can take it away. But you got to do some stuff for me. And then maybe when I get this account, when I get this money, maybe then I'll think about taking it off. And he's like, well, why are you making me wait? I could be hurt in those 2 years. And she goes, it's motivation. It's good motivation. You'll do what I say. So we get to see that Lyta is a weapon of mass destruction. She is what we'll call her an Omega level telepath. Like, yeah. And before the show goes off, we see that Sheridan and Delenn are in bed. And they're talking about how things are changing. And they're wondering what's going on with Londo. And so we see an image of Londo sitting on his throne all alone and very frustrated, very anxious. And then the show ends. And it's like, if they started the season with this episode, oh my God, it would be so great. But we only have a couple more episodes, y'all.
Everybody getting ready to leave.
Everybody's getting ready to leave. People being forced out. Yeah, it's all over the place. Not all over the place. It's just a lot going on.
Yeah. I say Londo sitting in the dark by himself.
So there we have it. Woo. I like, again, this episode, I liked it a lot. This is called Wheel of Fire, and I feel like they want to make sure we remember, like, yeah, the good guys, quote unquote, won the day 3, 4, 5 times, but there's still more stuff for them to deal with.
Mhm.
And I wish there was a lot more going on with the telepaths. And just to kind of like talk a little behind the scenes stuff, I believe they were planning. Uh, I believe Jeremiah Straczynski had a storyline complete, or elements complete for what could happen next. There is more Bester story, there's more Garibaldi story, there's more Lyta story, and I think they appear in different books and stuff. So it that's just to let you know, like, these things do get some really interesting endings. And honestly, in the revival of the show, if that ever happens, who knows? Maybe it won't ever happen. But if it does revive, I would love for them to incorporate some of these storylines, like the finale or the conclusions of these
Mhm.
storylines.
Yeah, like we talked about that before when uh Jakar was talking about going off with Lita. I'm like, that's a spinoff right there.
Right, I know, right? Garibaldi's alcoholism has been confronted directly. Uh, as Sunday would say, uh, the romantic solution is a woman will help him not be alcoholic. Apparently, um, honestly, my prediction is his alcoholism is gonna help drive that company into the ground.
I
uh,
think I don't. I think that the same way the dad had art and the other lady had whatever tool. I don't remember what her tool was to get out of her addiction. And then Mel said that she used her writing, that when he has the goal to get rid of this thing in his head so he can get Bester's ass, that nigga gonna be laser focused. He gonna be ADHD hyper focused on 1,000. He about to get this shit all the way done, and it ain't gonna take him 24 months to do it.
No, because like, yeah, he's good at puzzles and trying to get Buster without trying to get around the block to get to Buster and take down Psychor is a giant puzzle for him and something he's motivated to do.
Yeah. And then Jakar is just gonna be riding around. Franklin is also gonna be riding around. It's a lot there's a lot of potential here, and it's unfortunate because there's only just a couple more episodes. What, like 5 left?
Yeah, it does feel like it.
Oh, maybe it's like 3 episodes left. Oh shoot, what
Yeah,
am I looking at?
it does very much feel like they're trying to close everything up. They're trying to just make a ending. And so everybody's leaving, and that's the excuse for why we don't have a story for anybody here on Babylon 5 because everybody left it.
Which, oh gosh, they could have done so much with Captain Lockley. There's a lot that they can do with Lieutenant Corwin. There's a whole lot they can do with Zach. They can introduce a couple more characters. But you know, it's it's the nature of the beast. I wrote on one of my social media stories. You ever notice how in the last 30 years, when Warner Brothers is involved with a merger, it ruins all of media? It ruins and changes all of media. This stuff is so wild. Because right now Warner Brothers is about to merge with Netflix, and the reason why I'm bringing up Warner Brothers is the reason that Babylon 5 um did get canceled was because of the Warner Brothers and AOL merger, and they became Time Warner.
Oh,
Um, that thing ruined and destroyed billions of dollars of franchises, networks. People lost their jobs. People lost acting gigs. People lost
mm,
services. Like, um, maybe that can be a side mission. Maybe that should definitely be like a live. I want to be able to talk about that because that's not the only time that it's happened, but every time it happens, it ruins the entire entertainment industry, and they're about to do it again.
Yeah.
Because what was it when Time Warner recently sold and became Spire? They got rid of a whole cable network. Like not like a channel. No, I mean the ability for people to get their cable and internet.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what
I
they.
heard you
That's what
talk
they
about
put.
like a channel on cable.
No. It's people's ability to get cable service. I said Spire. It's not Spire. It's another company here. But yeah, because I remember after my contract supposedly lapsed, they were like, hey, you can re-sign with us. And I'm like, oh, all I want is just internet. Oh, well, we don't sell internet by itself. We're going to bundle it with TV and a phone. And you got to pay not the $70 you were paying in internet, but you got to pay us $140. Yeah, that's what they said. Any old way. That's one thing. All right. I hear Sundays on the phone in there, but we need to get out of here.
Don't be eavesdropping on me, Ninja. This is Sunday, and you can find me at a poker table.
We didn't. We have not even started. We have not even started our
Oops, my
rap.
bad. We'll just edit that out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was performing Magic the other day. I'll tell y'all about it. But let's go ahead and get on out of here. Thank y'all for joining us for this edition of Voices in Hyperspace. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Voices in Hyperspace. Oh yeah, go find our Facebook and continue the conversation. I'm Legendary Black Lion. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Legendary Black Lion.
And I'm Mel Asylum. You can find me at melsrebellion.com. You can find me on YouTube at Mel's Rebellion. And you can find me on TikTok where we go live. Well, at least I go live on Saturdays and chat.
Yes.
Hey, y'all. This is Sunday, and you can find me at a poker table.
We're almost done with this one, but just to keep that in mind, our next major project is going to be Star Trek. So, y'all hang out, and until next time, we'll see you out there. Peace.